Happy Devils Friday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report. The Morning Woo edition. Titled, Getting the Fourth Win is the Hardest. I am your host, Sam Woo. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Coming to you live from the bunker in the Primetime Radio Studios in an undisclosed location in New Jersey. But last night we were down at American Whiskey at 51 Edison Place for Game Day Live and Devils After Dark, witnessing a 4-0 beatdown of the New York Rangers for the Devils to get that third win, up 3-2 in the series after being down 0-2. The Devils are in the driver's seat right now. And today's title, Getting the Fourth Win is the Hardest. It is the hardest. The Devils are going to be traveling to Madison Square Garden for Game 6. You know that the New York Rangers are going to have to put up a fight and make sure that they win on home ice. But the Devils right now, they are going to have to come out and not change a thing and just do what they do best. Put the pressure on the New York Rangers. The Rangers had no answers yesterday. The Rangers were dominated. Kevin Ball using the body, getting physical. The Rangers, when they responded, it was Akira Schmid that shut them down. But the fourth win is going to be the hardest. And Igor Shesterkin can still steal you a game or two in the playoffs. And the Devils have to get the win on Saturday. Because you do not want it to get to a Game 7 where anything can happen. BS play, BS call. Toronto with reversing a goal score. Anything can happen in Game 7. The Devils got to take care of business. And it will be interesting to see how the Devils will perform in Madison Square Garden. Will the Rangers' experience get them through this tough time? We've heard that buzzword that the Devils have no experience, but that's far from the truth. They have experience all season long of figuring out how to win. They are the comeback kids. Like the regular season, they started 0-2. Like in the playoffs, 0-2. But they figured it out. They made the adjustments, and the Rangers have not solved the New Jersey Devils. The Devils figured out how to shut down the New York Rangers power play. In the first two games, that Rangers power play was just on fire. Now, just like JCP&L, there's a power outage in New York. And the Devils are responsible for that. Little Fireboy says we're in Shesterkin's head. I think so. And Akira Schmid, he doesn't really care. He does his own thing in net. Oh my goodness, says the Morning Woo. Hello, oh my goodness. Ted stayed at the bar all night. Stayed for the entire duration. Had a great time at American Whiskey. Yeah, Palat got things started, and the Devils just rolled over the New York Rangers last night. Great crowd. I would say 90-10. 90% Devils fans, 10% Ranger fans. The Ranger fans were real quiet last night. And thank goodness. I mean, the first two games of this series, it's like, oh, they were – I forgot how annoying Rangers fans were. But, boy, I wish I could find those Ranger fans that were annoying me in Game 1 and 2 and just let them have it. But we got work to do. A lot of work to do because winning this fourth game and sealing the deal is the Devils have to do it now. Ticket prices are dropping at Madison Square Garden for Game 6. Matter of fact, it looks like it's cheaper to go to Madison Square Garden than at The Rock. Are Devils fans going to take over the building? That's what I want to know. Now, if I could figure a way how to do Game Day Live and Devils After Dark in the city, I would, because I want to go to that game. I want to go to that game. I already talked to Mrs. Wu. We're tempted to go to Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden to watch our New Jersey Devils. And you know what? We're going to get a lot of heat for it. That's okay. It's not like, it's not like I'm not experienced at getting heat. Donald Boyle, it wasn't 90-10. It was Donald, I was at the game. All right. Upper Bowl was really filled with New Jersey Devils fans. The lower bowl is a concentration of Ranger fans because they're more expensive tickets. And that's where all the TV cameras are. So the optics look like it's further from the truth, what I just said. But I thought it was 90-10, based on what I saw outside of American whiskey. I mean, there were Ranger fans, don't get me wrong. But just remember, they stick out like a sore thumb in the sea of red. It's there. Donald says I was there too. All right. We can debate this all night. Well, what's your percentage, Donald, if it's not 90-10? To me, it was 90-10. Supernova says Game 2 was bad. Many Ranger fans. Yes, there were. But you know what? Who cares? Who cares? I mean, these ticket prices don't really dictate our fan base. Just means our fan base doesn't have the money to pay for these ungodly prices. I don't know. Oh, by the way, I want to thank JCB Architectural for a wonderful time inside the building last night. JCB Architectural, good friend of the podcast. I had a great time inside. Yeah, I told that story on Game Day Live how I almost tripped a Ranger fan for telling me that I had an awful goal light helmet. Joey B says I was a negative Nancy, but here to eat crow. Thought the Rangers would take this seriously. Great to see the Devils play well at the Rock Rocket. Well, thank you, Joey B. Let's see. Don't need a Christmas present this year if they win this series. Yeah, Supernova, you just simply don't lose to the New York Rangers. You simply don't. I mean, the players know it now after going down 0-2. See, they got the experience, this playoff experience that everybody's been talking about, that the Rangers have and the Devils don't. It just seems like the big media just wanted the Rangers to win. Why? Because New York has better advertising dollars. We talked about this on Devils After Dark. You got Ray Ferraro singing all the praise, and, Sean McDonough, and a couple of the broadcasts, and it's like a nauseating about talking about the New York Rangers. But the fact of the matter is, it is New York. The advertising dollars are bigger. The audience size is bigger, and the networks make money, and they can make money back, on the ungodly sum that they pay the NHL for the rights for these games. So, of course, they're going to pick New York. New Jersey doesn't have that kind of market. Now, if New Jersey did, oh, my goodness, they would be singing the praises of New Jersey. Anytime you watch these broadcasters talk, just follow where the money goes. That's where it really is all at. Now, I'm not saying all broadcasters are like that, but my goodness, how much do you have to appease the New York Ranger fans? Okay, Ranger fans don't watch hockey; they watch the Rangers and nothing else. So, to tell you the truth, I don't know. I've got opinions on pretty much about everything, but honestly, I think the failures of the New York Rangers organization of not winning as many cups as they should have in their, long history, only 4 cups in about 100 years is like, I don't know, a 4 point something percent. Even during a time when they were original 6 team, they only won 3. And even 94, do you really count that as the New York Rangers? I mean, they just basically transplanted a financially strapped team called the Edmonton Oilers and just took all their players and just added some Chicago Blackhawks players. And then, wham, you got your 94 New York Rangers, right? Anyway, Cornhole said they said on Hot 97 last night that the Devils are for real and can actually beat Boston. Well, you know what? I'll take credit where credit. Anybody giving the Devils credit, but I like being the underdog. Cornhole says the Rangers are out of gas. Yeah, I'm out of gas too. Let's see here. Ted says Erica Wachter is awesome. Yes, she is. I'm telling you, there's something about Erica. It must be the Genucell. That Genucell, let me tell you something. It just creates winning. And they don't sponsor us yet, but hey, you know what? Genucell. It's good stuff. All right, let's see here. Joey B says, Stan Wu, thanks for doing the show. Hungover and tired, LOL. Joey B, it's full disclosure, I didn't drink last night. I'm just tired. I did 2 podcasts. I was talking to TJ the DJ and Pete the organist last night. When I wandered off, see, I was at JCB Architectural Seats, and then somehow I wandered off, and you know me, I'm a little ADD. I literally spent 15 minutes watching the Aunt Annie's, them making those pretzels, and I was just like glued in for 15 minutes. And then I saw TJ the DJ and Pete the organist, and one of the things that they said is that sucks about doing these type of remote shows, whether you're in a band or you're doing, TV or radio, whatever, the setup and the breakdown absolutely sucks. Because there's a lot of equipment you need at these shows. And it does suck. It took me about an hour. I was actually late to the game because I had to get my stuff off the streets because, you can't keep that platform there forever. Anyway. At Sam, any damage done to your equipment? I thought there was because we had a power outage on the set. I forgot to replenish the batteries. We run on batteries. So we had a problem on Game Day Live, but I thought the mixer, something happened, but just needed to be recalibrated. So let's see. Yeah, maybe we should do the Woo damage report after all these podcasts. I can assure you a New York Rangers fan did not touch any of my equipment yesterday. You watch them like a hawk. Since that incident, Peyton watches them like a hawk. And she's done a very good job at that. Select the Boy is chiming in. What's up, Devils folks? Yeah, so you know what? Today I have the day off, a rare day off. So I could go all day long if I wanted to, but you know what? Mrs. Wu has some things for me to do today. So I can't stay here that long. But yeah, getting the 4th win will be the hardest. It really will be. But that's why we play the games. And the Devils are going to get experience doing this. Ted says, Sam, do they rush Schmidt? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He is hot right now, and you go with the hot goaltender. Even if he gets shelled in Game 6, he's coming back for Game 7. Right now, it's his team. Right now, Schmidt is the #1 goalie. I said this. Boy, I wish I could maybe I should play some old clips about a few months ago. Schmidt's my guy. Eric Holla will show up for the playoffs. And Holla did. Holla has done that because he was doing all the little things right throughout the year. It's just he couldn't finish. But now he's figured out how to finish with stakes on the big stakes games. He's a good player, Eric Holla. And as what Beer Baron pointed out in the Boston series, that last play where Matthew Tkachuk scored the overtime game winner, it was Pavel Zacha on that play. And vintage Pavel Zacha didn't back check and didn't help his teammate out. Glad we don't have to deal with that anymore because Eric Holla, at least we know that he's Mr. Reliable. ANJ Devil 2, Schmid is such a calming, stabilizing force right now. Ride him to the finals. Yeah, I mean, he could be the next Jordan Binnington in some respect. Not so much in temperament, but really just, that young goaltender that just gets hot. But Schmid's been like this all season. Plus, he's Swiss, so you got the Swiss connection there as well. That helps. And this is not a knock on Vitek Vanacek, but you know what? The Devils are going to ride the hot goaltender. Absolutely. Ride the hot goaltender. Get that fourth win under your belt. Vanacek as a 1B is, yeah. Joey B says, how would you compare the old Meadowlands crowd to the rock crowd? Which one's more loud or more rowdy, etc.? Well, very good question, Joey. If you remember the Devils in the late 90s, those Devils-Rangers games, they were, I think, honestly, because times have changed, it's less vulgar now than it was back in the Meadowlands days. The Meadowlands days, there were fights. Like every Devils-Rangers game, every Devils-Flyers game, there were always fights. You literally I used to call them body armor night because you got to put on your body armor because you go to those games, chances are you're probably going to get in a fight, like physically. And that is no longer, I mean, it does happen from time to time, but not as often. Just kind of like fighting in the NHL, it's kind of calmed down. The Meadowlands crowd, see, it's all about the acoustics, right? The Devils, I mean, Newark, Madison Square Garden's got the greatest acoustics in their arena. The ceiling is low, is designed that way, whereas, both the Meadowlands and Prudential Center, it's kind of like the ceiling is kind of high. So, but in terms of, I guess, loudness, I would give the edge to probably the old Meadowlands, believe it or not. But again, that's a hard question. It really depends. I mean, but I can tell you that the vulgarness has definitely changed. I mean, there used to be a lot of chants out there. We can't even chant nowadays, But also remember that the Meadowlands had the old goal song versus, the Rock. They play their own thing, with Gaslight Anthem. So, yeah, it's Selective Boy said, I'm surprised there wasn't a Devils-Rangers brawl or Devils-Flyers brawl. Are you talking about on the ice or off the ice, meaning with the fans? I mean, I remember there's one Devils-Flyers. Was it Devils-Flyers? Yeah, this Devils-Flyers game. I think it was like a January game at Continental Airlines Arena, and I think there was a fight in every section that game. Like every section at Continental Airlines Arena, there was a fight. There was a fan fight. And I remember Marty Brodeur was quoted, I believe, in the Star Ledger, and he said it looked like the fans were more entertained in the stands than at the game itself because there was just a lot going on. And, yeah, so, yeah, I'll tell you, it's one of those, yeah, I mean, the olden days is what I call them now. I mean, the Meadowlands was just, I mean, it was fun when it lasted. I mean, the tailgating, so you get there before 4 o'clock, and then you tailgate, and you get there before 4 o'clock, so you didn't have to pay for parking. Then you would just like bring all the booze and the grill, you eat outside, and then you just go in the game all fired up. And then afterwards, you just threw your trash all over the place. And then we used to roll tires in the parking lot. And one time, oh my goodness, one time we rolled this tire, and then I went through a coal of fire, somebody's grill that just left there that still had some hot coals, and then suddenly that tire hit a Christmas tree, and then boom, it was just, yeah. Well, those are my adventures of the old Meadowland days, and then if you ever venture outside the Meadowlands, like one time my friend and I did, we just randomly parked for free, and then like, I wonder if there's a restaurant around here. So we just walked, and then, it's like a scene out of Sopranos. It's like where they throw the bodies, like in the Meadowlands. It's just like dirt roads, and suddenly, voila, appeared a restaurant called the River Barge, somewhere in East Rutherford or Carlstadt. I don't know where we were, but we just walked randomly for an hour, found this place, and turned out to be a great restaurant. So that was like our place. Used to get the chicken franchise there and then walk back. Also, there was a driving range near the old Continental Airlines Arena as well. Dirk says, walking the bridge with the fans chanting, pounding on the metal walls. Yeah. Yeah, that cattle bridge. Remember? And remember when it was made out of wood before it was remember it was made out of wood and you can actually look beneath you and see the cars under you on Route 3? Or is it Route 3 or 21 or I forgot, 17? I forgot what road that was. That was scary. Before they really built it right, it was made out of wood and it was flimsy. And then those Devils Rangers games, it was the cattle bridge, yep. And then remember when you're trying to get back to Giant Stadium and you're just move, because it was a cattle bridge. Anybody remember that? And then people will be slamming, "Let's go Devils!" Just like that. Yeah, the cattle bridge was great. I mean, it's still there. But it's much more well built than it was back in those days. You could actually fall through the floor. Move is what we used to shout. Oh, those were the days. Yeah. Anyway, want to thank all those tuning in on the Morning Woo, dropping the podcast in about 20 minutes. I got to get my day started. I got my chores that Mrs. Woo has me doing on my day off. I think she deserves it because I've been just moonlighting as a podcaster in Newark. So I better get going. Yeah, Route 120. Okay, Supernova. Yeah, it was right under you. It was scary. It was you feel. Yeah. And my greatest fear was I was going to fall through it and die on that couch because that thing, especially when it's 40-mile-per-hour winds, if anybody remembers, that thing shook. And then then you're like, Merv. But yeah. Don Boyle says we need a live chat during Game 6. that could happen. I'll think about it. But I really want to go to the game at Madison Square Garden. I want to get me and Mrs. Wu need a date night at Madison Square Garden. Although I would probably get my ass kicked, and she'd probably egg the Ranger fans on. Yeah, kick his ass. That's my husband. Kick his ass. I'll teach him. Anyway, no, Mrs. Wu and I have a very good relationship. Anyway, let's see here. Yeah, a live chat. Where we put our feet up? What do we talk about? We'll just look. The problem is, when I get the game, I'm on a 3-minute delay with my streaming service, so I don't know how that's going to work. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, I want to thank all those tuning in to this podcast. If you want a live chat, you better bring the super chats for that one. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's see here. Select a voice. Oh, I meant on ice brawls, by the way. The best on ice brawl. I mean, if you go back to '92 in the playoffs, Game 6, I think it was Scott Stevens was it went to the benches. That was an all-out, not line brawl. That was just an all-out bench clearing brawl. We haven't seen those in years. Those are, and you just don't do that anymore. The rules have changed. But yeah. All righty. Well, getting out of here. Playing the music right now. Dropping the podcast. About 20 minutes. Well, I might be doing a podcast tonight. I don't know. Am I double shifting tonight? I don't know. Depending on how I feel. But keep it here. Keep it real. Till next time, this is the Will Report. Let's go Devils.